All right, what is up, everybody? It is Matt Modi here with OddsJam, here to give you a preview of the Buckeyes versus the Bulldogs college football playoff game. Obviously, Ohio State versus Georgia. Pretty good matchup here. It's kind of funny, despite being the 1 versus the 4. This game is actually projected to be closer than the 2 versus 3 matchup. Probably, at least in terms of talent, the 2 best teams in the nation. I know Ohio State got smacked by Michigan, but if we're just looking at talent alone, they're probably the number 2 talented team in the nation with C.J. Stroud, and then obviously the receivers Marvin Harrison Jr., who, for my money, is the best receiver in college football, best player in college football. And then Jackson Smith and Jiba having an injury-riddled, tough year, but still incredibly talented himself. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of just a betting preview for this one, using OddsJam to pull up all the odds. So every page you see in this video is going to be completely free to use. Obviously, these lines are constantly going to be changing between now and when the game starts. So make sure that you're hopping on OddsJam, constantly constantly getting the best odds. In terms of the money line, obviously no surprise here. Georgia is the heavy favorite. Number 1 team in the nation, smashed every single game they played except for one, I believe, against Missouri, which was weirdly close. Every team is kind of due a game like that. From top to bottom, clearly the best team in college football from start to finish. But in terms of the money line, I'm not touching it. Obviously, I mean, the best odds we are getting is minus 240, but this is at BetOnline, and BetOnline is a book that we use to kind of set markets. So not really a good play here in terms of the actual onshore books where you can place a bet. BetRivers giving us the best odds at minus 245. In terms of the Ohio State side, if you do think they have an upset in them, the best odds on 6 books. Here, as you can see, we see BetMGM, Betfred, PointsBet, Caesars, DraftKings, and WynnBET all price this at plus 210. So if you do think that Ohio State is due for an upset or can get an upset here, lock them in at plus 210. The point spread is obviously where things are a little bit more interesting. The thing that I find interesting, it's minus 6.5 across the board. Every single book has it priced at minus 6.5. But with that said, most books that maybe 50-50 that price it favor Georgia at minus 6.5. We see BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings, Circa, FoxBet, and Pinnacle all favor Georgia at minus 6.5. And I know that because they have the Georgia side more expensive to buy. So for BetMGM, Georgia minus 6.5 is at minus 115. BetMGM has the Ohio State side at minus 105, making the Georgia side more expensive to buy. Every book has that, or either has that or has it at even money. Pinnacle favoring Georgia obviously is incredibly important here because Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world. BetOnline has it 50-50 each way, so nothing to glean from them. But for me, in my official prediction, my official bet for this game, I'm taking Georgia minus 6.5. As good as Ohio State is, honestly think Georgia is just better. They're tougher on defense. I think they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. And we're going to see Ohio State lose in a way similar to what they did against Michigan. Maybe not give up like 1,000 long touchdown runs and touchdown passes, but just get out physical, especially Georgia defense versus Ohio State offense. I worry about. And then on offense, Georgia has 25-year-old Stetson Bennett, who's been there for 6 years. He's basically he's at the equivalent of a quarterback in the middle of his career. He's he's older than a lot of quarterbacks that are currently in the NFL that are in like their 3rd seasons, some of them. So he's got poise. He's got tons of talent surrounding him. So the Georgia side of it makes a ton of sense, minus 6.5. I believe this line is going to close higher. I think Georgia is going to continue to get more action. So I do think that when it's all said and done, this will be a positive expected value bet. The fact that majority of books that are pricing this favor Georgia at this number, the fact that Pinnacle favors Georgia at this number, to me, shows you that the money is already coming in on Georgia. And as we get closer to this game on New Year's Eve, more money is going to continue to come in on Georgia. So I do think that getting them at minus 6.5 at minus 110 is a good price. In terms of the over-under, as we can see here, it's kind of priced between 60.5, 61, and 61.5. Now this 60.5 is also a really good play, -110 at BetMGM. Literally every other book that prices it has it at 61.5, a full point higher. And we see that in this case, they either have it at even money or, again, they favor the over. They favor the side that we are on. So we're getting it a full point lower than what sportsbooks think they have this at, and they still favor it going over. So to use an example, FanDuel has this at -115, over 61.5, favoring the over. BetOnline, that's obviously very important, favoring the over. Fox Bet favors the over as well, and then Pinnacle has it at -110 each way. So in each scenario, the Georgia spread, the total going over, we're getting a play. I mean, the over is an even better price. So in terms of if you only wanted to pick one, I think the over is the better play here because you're just getting significantly more value. This one's already positive EV. I think that Georgia will end up positive EV, but both scenarios and both bets, we're getting a play for pretty much even money in terms of -110 each way for line that the sharp books and most books are favoring. So this over 60.5 is an awesome play. Mispriced line by BetMGM. So I got two bets for this game: Georgia -6.5, over 60.5. And that's going to be it. So for those of you tailing these two bets, comment and let me know. Would love to hear it, but that's all I got. So appreciate everybody watching and have a good one.